Hello and welcome to SAYED'S Biology. In this video, different parts of the respiratory system will be discussed in detail with animal models. Nasal cavity. The nasal cavity in mammals is divided into two parts by a bony septum called the nasal septum. The upper part, called the nasopharynx, is lined with specialized olfactory epithelium that detects odor molecules. The lower part, called the respiratory tract, is lined with ciliated cells that trap and remove foreign particles from the air. Nasopharynx. The nasopharynx is a part of the respiratory system located behind the nasal cavity and above the soft palate. It is the uppermost part of the pharynx, which is a muscular tube that connects the back of the nose and mouth to the esophagus and larynx. The nasopharynx plays an important role in breathing and speaking. It contains the openings of the eustachian tubes, which connect the middle ear to the back of the throat and help to regulate air pressure in the ear. The nasopharynx also contains the pharyngeal tonsils, adenoids, which are part of the body's immune system and help to protect against infection. The hard palate and soft palate are two distinct structures that form the roof of the nasal cavity in horses. The hard palate is the bony part of the roof of the mouth, which is located at the front of the nasal cavity. It is formed by the palatine bones and the maxillary bones. The hard palate provides a solid foundation for the upper teeth and helps to separate the nasal cavity from the oral cavity. The soft palate is located at the back of the nasal cavity and is made up of a fold of tissue that extends from the hard palate toward the pharynx. The soft palate is not supported by the bone and is therefore more flexible than the hard palate. It plays an important role in breathing and swallowing by helping to close off the nasal cavity during swallowing and preventing food and water from entering the nasal cavity. In horses, the soft palate is particularly important during exercise, as it helps to regulate the flow of air into the lungs. Larynx. The larynx is a part of the respiratory system that connects the pharynx to the trachea. It is located in the neck and plays an important role in breathing, swallowing, and vocalization. The anatomy of the larynx in domestic animals varies somewhat between species, but there are some general features that are common to most. In general, the larynx is composed of a framework of cartilage, muscles, and other tissues. The cartilage provides support and protection for the airway, while the muscles and other tissues control the movement of the vocal cords and other structures in the larynx. In most domestic animals, the larynx is composed of several cartilages, including the thyroid cartilage, also known as the Adam's apple, in humans the cricoid cartilage, and several smaller cartilages. The thyroid and cricoid cartilages are the largest and most important in terms of maintaining the structure and function of the larynx. The vocal cords are located in the larynx and are responsible for producing sound when air passes over them. In most domestic animals, the vocal cords are stretched between the thyroid and arytenoid cartilages and are controlled by a series of muscles and nerves. The size and shape of the vocal cords can vary between species, which can affect the quality and range of sounds that an animal can produce. Other structures in the larynx include the epiglottis, which helps to prevent food and other materials from entering the airway during swallowing. In some species, such as horses, the larynx also contains a structure called the laryngeal ventricle, which helps to amplify sound during vocalization.